Important! At the end of the video, I will also explain why mixing together salt and yeast could actually be a good idea for some of you, so make sure you watch until the end. Okay, time to experiment. I will make 2 doubles with the very same doses and following my usual recipe and process. Please understand that this is not going to be a recipe video and I won't give you any details about it, but you can find a dedicated video in the upper right corner. So first, I'm gonna take 2 bowls and prepare everything I need. First of all, I got the yeast, 2 doses of salt. The first one, I will put it straight on top of my yeast. Very well. In the meantime, I will work on the other one. So yeast, no salt, water. So while I work on this, something will happen here. You will see in a few minutes. Okay, now I have to geek out, so please pay attention. I'll try to keep the scientific lingo to a minimum. In the end, I'm not a scientist. I have studied stuff and now I'm sharing with you my findings. Salt is hygroscopic. This means that it has a great affinity with water, humidity in general. Here I have 2 compounds, more precisely 2 solutions with different concentrations of salt. One is the yeast itself, and the other is the rest, the environment that immediately surrounds the yeast, including, of course, the salt. When these 2 things are in contact, they have to find a balance, and this happens by moving water from one to the other. When the water moves from the yeast, it breaks the wall of yeast cells, it's a membrane. So what's happening here? This membrane is broken, so it won't contain the water anymore. And this is why you see this liquid here. Now, are the cells of yeast dying? Yes. And the longer they stay in contact, the more cells will die. However, studies show that it takes around 1 hour to cause irreparable damage. Therefore, if I make my dough right now, it won't be a problem. In fact, let's do it. Since the 2 bowls are the same, I thought of a genius, awesome way to distinguish them. A sticker. They will stay here for an hour or even less. I would usually leave them rest for 1 hour before put them in the fridge, but it's quite warm. The weather is quite warm. It's summertime, you know. And so I will check first in half an hour and see what's happening. Then anyway, they will go in the fridge overnight and I'll take them back to room temperature tomorrow. However, I will check them first thing in the morning. My idea is to have them more or less at the same level. So perhaps I will take this out from the fridge earlier than the other one. By the way, tomorrow when I finish the video, I will just update you and tell you what I will do. Okay, I was studying the situation. I think I'm going to put in the fridge let's say the good one, the one with the not killed yeast, and I will leave another half an hour or so the other at room temperature. So tomorrow I will just check them first thing in the morning. I will try to make them rise more or less at the same level, and yeah, I will tell you later in the video. So the day after, this is how my dough balls look. This is the, let's call it the good one. This is the one with the sticker where I actually killed the yeast. What do you say? I think they look more or less the same, aside for this big bubble. If we check like this, they are more or less the same. I must say I have underestimated the heat wave. In this room right now there are 32 degrees probably, so I left in the fridge this double until literally 10 minutes ago, 10-15 minutes ago, while this one was in the fridge until half an hour ago, because in my opinion it was a little bit late. This is the paradox compared to the one where I killed yeast. I would say that mixing yeast and salt together doesn't cause any problem at all. I think you agree with me, and I can say that the experiment is now done. We only have to make pizza. This is semolina. Let me show off a little bit. These doughballs are smaller than my usual. These were around under 80 grams. So even the size, instead of being my usual 12 inches, 31 centimeters, will be slightly less because I don't want to make the base too thin. I will make a simple margherita. Voila! Well, what can I say? This looks like more or less like my usual pizzas. And let's see how the section of the cornicione is. I think it's fair to say that the myth was busted. Mixing together salty yeast, keeping them in close contact doesn't really hinder the rising of the dough. I mean, yes, it slows it down for sure, but as long as you manage the dough like I did and leave it at room temperature for longer, basically, the timings will not be too different from your usual and the pizza will come out just perfect. Now, two important things. First, if you made it this far, I think it's time to hit thumbs up and write a comment, even a simple emoji would do. Second, here is the reason why it might even be recommended to carry out this operation, let's say to kill the yeast. While the salt attacks, yeast tries to defend itself and it will produce a chemical to protect its cells. But this chemical also has an interesting positive side effect. It acts on the gluten and makes it more extensible. As a result, your pizza base will be easier to stretch. You're welcome.